All right, it's time now for Great Day Law. What do you do if you're involved in an accident, something many people unfortunately have to deal with?
With all the holiday parties going on, what if you actually get hit by a drunk driver? God forbid. But what happens? We're going to talk more about this with attorney Lawyer Twillie. He's joining us now from LA Law. I mean, fingers crossed that never happens to anyone, but you
100%.
do need to know some good information in case something like that were to happen.
100%. Yeah, I mean, if you get struck by a drunk driver, there are a lot of options that are available to you. It's not just necessarily the person that was driving the car, but it could be where they were drinking at.
Right.
Let's say, for example, I mean, I've handled a lot of cases where somebody was drinking at a bar, and there are laws in place, dram shop laws, that add additional coverage. Because, for example, it happens so much. I had one early on that was a death case where alcohol was involved. The person only had a actually it was $20,000 policy. Certainly not enough to compensate somebody for a death, not even close.
Right.
But dram shop laws and the establishments that have dram coverage, it kicks it up to $250,000.
Could you explain what that is, dram shop?
Yeah,
What is that?
Well, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe dram is an old English word for like a measure of alcohol.
Okay.
And so dram shop laws are laws that this state and other states have enacted for purveyors and sellers of alcohol. So bars, restaurants, places that sell alcohol.
So they don't overserve?
So they don't overserve to
Okay.
sort of protect
Okay.
the public.
Yeah, they do the best that they can. I've seen people get cut off, and,
Right.
and then the person gets belligerent,
Right.
and then it's never a good thing. But those laws are in place for a reason.
Yeah, and again, this isn't like a sort of a blame game thing, because I've had oddball cases where the person who caused the accident was drinking at home and then went to an establishment and had a drink or two. And if you're a bartender or a server, you don't necessarily know the level of intoxication, especially if you've only served them one or two drinks and you have 20 other tables that you're dealing with.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, you have to be aware. And the same thing for
Well, that's the thing. If you're having a holiday party
Yes.
and someone drinks at your house,
need to be aware.
what happens? I mean, could we be in trouble if someone leaves our house and we didn't realize they then went and hit someone?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the law in that area has evolved a tremendous amount over the last 20 years and certainly 20 plus years. So back in the day, you would have had almost no liability whatsoever as a social host. Somebody comes to your house and they drink and maybe they get into an accident. But over the last 15, 20 years, that law started to evolve. People want to start holding others responsible for their behavior. So it's a really tricky, and it's very, fact-driven, case-by-case specific. But the bottom line is, you could potentially be held responsible.
It kind of like puts me in I have a holiday party coming up.
Right.
You want to throw parties, you want to have people to your house.
Right.
But what?
Listen, there are insurance, so your property insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, a lot of times you can add on coverage to protect you.
Like
so
I have
that
an
it'll kick
umbrella
in.
policy on my particular house.
Right.
Is that something
That would offer you a layer of protection. But also just be aware. Make sure that your guests have some sort of a plan in place to get to where they need to go.
Perfect, right. Make sure
safely
they have a designated
afterwards.
driver, they're doing Uber, they're not driving to the parties and things like that. What if I'm hosting a party at a restaurant?
Yeah. And that's another wrinkle, right? So I said it's very complex and very facts driven. So if you're holding it at a restaurant and the restaurant is serving, they may have some liability, because if they have staff that's actually taking care of you, they may have some liability. Your liability actually may be sort of cut off, but it depends. It really all depends. And I hate telling clients that, but it depends on the facts.
You need to get the facts and have someone know. You also say it makes a difference if you're serving adults or maybe the minors got the liquor.
And that's another wrinkle,
then
right?
you're much more liable if a minor in your house.
Much more liable.
Okay.
You know about this
Well,
stuff
I always worry about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a terrible thing to have to worry about.
And not only liable civilly, but criminally as well.
All right.
Nobody wants to hear that. So it's the holidays. Let's have fun.
Happy holidays.
That's
Happy
not
holidays,
fun.
everybody. Get in touch with Lawyer Twillie if you have any questions. We appreciate you coming on. And you're the man in charge, and you know what's going on. So you can get in touch with him at visit LALawCT.com. Follow him on Facebook at LALawCT or on Instagram at GetLALaw.